Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for waiting. I know we're a few minutes behind, but it's all good. That's what we do. There's no format on Monday nights. You already know how we get down. What's good? It's your host with the most, King Felix G. Ray, how you doing, bro?
Hey man, I'm good.
We got a guest. He's in the break room waiting right now. We're waiting on Nibs to show up. We'll give him a couple minutes before we bring him on. Thank you for everybody tuning in, supporting Trini Ochoa. It's gonna be a fun interview. Before we get into that, man, brief thoughts, because we are gonna talk about the fights, from last weekend. But brief thoughts, because I feel like the heavyweight division is crazy all over again, bro.
It is. Yeah, man. It is. It's exciting, really. I know last week I was going on about, the heavyweight division is better with Anthony Joshua in it. I still stand by that statement, and I still think he's in it. You know what I mean? It might be not at the top level, but it's like, who doesn't want to see Anthony Joshua fight, right? Like, the dude is like the definition of a heavyweight fighter. One punch can end it all on his end, and it could be ended in one punch. And, it kind of had some me bringing back up Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua. Like, why not, right? Like, we thought that fight's been gonna happen and then gone, gonna happen, gone. It's like, hey man, I wouldn't mind seeing that again. So.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's on the losing side, now we're interested in, everybody wanted Deontay Wilder to retire. Now we got the talks of Joshua and Wilder again, which that wasn't happening. Now I see the clip circulating the internet again. Daniel Dubois stopping Usyk with that body shot. Now that's going on. So Daniel Dubois has more or less created a huge star buzz around himself, and I'm glad it was for the actual championship title belt because well earned for him. Congrats.
Man, he did it. I guess you say the hard way, but the way you like to see it be done, right? Almost like he was active, took a fight after fight after fight where he's underdog until like, man, we have to respect it now,
Right.
I mean, I think it started he's knocked out. He stopped Big Baby Miller. He had arguably a knockout over Usyk. That's controversial right there. Philip Hrgovic, right? He had that win. Yeah. Then knockout of Anthony Joshua. It's like, man, if you stay active and put up results like that,
right,
you're going to be talked about, man. He's put himself in a great position. Yeah, I mean, he's basically calling the shots now on his end.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, who's not looking forward to that? Seeing Daniel Dubois fight and step into the ring again. But before we get into full deep dive, we're gonna go ahead and bring our guest in. We're waiting for Nibs to show up, but who knows what time he's gonna show up. We don't know how they run business on Friday nights, but this is what we do on Mondays over here. But we're gonna bring Trini Ochoa on now. Trini, thank you for joining us, man.
Yeah, no problem. How's it going?
Hey, another day over here, bro. Really quickly. And a lot of people watching are already fans of you, but there's going to be people who aren't familiar. So go ahead and introduce yourself really quickly. Let everybody know who you are.
Yeah, my name's Trini Ochoa. I'm a professional boxer. My current record is 18-0. And yeah, that's what I do.
We got November 2nd. You're stepping back in the ring. But before we actually get into that real quick, if you want to, I mean, everybody's boxing fans. At the end of the day, here's Nibs now, late, but hey, here he is.
Oh my God. I know that dude is in a bad mood with what he's wearing. Like, you can't be happy. You can't be. I don't know if I've met a happy Bears fan, but we'll get to that, bro. It's early.
Real quick, Trini, I know you're a fan of the sport as well, too. What are your quick thoughts on Daniel Dubois and Anthony Joshua?
That was an exciting fight for sure. Joshua came in big. He looked big. He looked strong. He looked explosive, but he just got caught with a couple shots. His legs weren't there. He doesn't have a good chin, so that rocks him, and he just had to spend most of the time recovering. And before he got knocked out, he landed a good shot. It looked like it rocked Dubois a little bit, and then Dubois came right back.
Yeah, it was an exciting finish, man. It was a great. What was it? Was it 3 rounds or 4 rounds?
I don't remember. It ended in fourth, something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, it was exciting the time that it lasted because, like you said, he just survived, and it was, how much longer is Anthony Joshua going to last before he's out?
Yeah.
Hey, When you see a fight like that where it's kind of you say he hurt him and he hurt him, and it's kind of like someone's gonna get knocked out, rock'em sock'em robot. I know your style's like different than that.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on that? Like, do you respect that? Do you like admire that, or are you just like, man, you're making this fight really hard on yourself?
No, I respect that for sure because Joshua already got rocked. He was continuing to get rocked. His only really chance at coming back in the fight was rocking the other guy and taking that away from him too, and evening the playing field on that. So I respect him for coming out and trying to come back from that.
Does it make you want to be like? Are you like, man, I want to be in a war like that, or are you like, I'm good with my style?
Uh, Honestly, bro, in my blood, I do want those wars. I do want to sit there and slug out sometimes, but that's not my style. I'm a smart fighter. If that's what works for me at the time, that's what I need to do. I'll do it. If not, I'm gonna stay at my distance and do my thing.
Do you ever feel pressure to have that kind of fight to gain more fans or to get yourself put in a certain position? As far as your career is concerned, do you ever feel like you need to have something like that on your ledger?
When the time comes and I have to dig down and I know I could do it, I'll do it because that's how I started boxing. My first couple amateur fights, I'm a brawler, by heart. So I was coming in just with my head, throwing punches, taking punches. When my dad took over as my coach, he doesn't want to see me get hit. Obviously, he's my dad, so he taught me a really defensive style, with a defensive mindset. Hit and don't get hit. That's the sport. So I hit and don't get hit. But I always make sure I'm applying that pressure and I'm coming forward still, staying busy, throwing feints, throwing a lot of punches still. And if knockout comes, it comes.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty interesting to hear because I mean just hearing that takes me to Floyd. Like Floyd was always more defensive under his dad, and then it was like under Roger he was kind of. I mean he would get in slug it out right there, but it's like kind of man like just hearing that like your dad has I guess your best interest at heart, man, and yeah, that similarity is crazy to hear.
Yeah, and it is a good style too that you have, Trini. And with that style, with your record, you're constantly you're moving. And there's a big light already on the state of Arizona and all the fighters here. You're starting to warm up to get to that, next in line spot to where the spotlight's going to be on you. Have people been reaching out like for sparring? Is he maybe down for a fight later on the line with our prospect on this top rank card or PBC card? Have any of those discussions started yet by chance?
I mean, we've gotten a few offers from some other cards, and we haven't found anything we wanted yet. We're being patient, taking our time. My next fight's gonna be a big step up for me. That's gonna be a good one. And after that, we're gonna start looking into other bigger things for sure.
Hey Trini, I know with the fights and a young fighter is you're learning everything every fight, you're building that up. I saw a post on it was a picture of you and Loma. Did you get in the ring with Lomachenko?
Yeah, for his last fight against what's his name? His last fight, I was part of his training camp for his sparring. I was just one of his sparring partners, one of his main sparring partners.
What's that like, man? Because we, you see that amateur record, we see him in the ring, right? I guess can you walk us through that, like walking into the ring, getting into the ring with him the first time, and just that experience?
Yeah, I mean, at first, I remember that first time. It was a cool experience. It's like, damn, I'm really about to do this. I was excited though. I was more excited than anything to see what it was like facing him in the ring and witnessing all his skill set from that perspective and seeing what I could take from that and make my own. And that was just a great opportunity, and I did not let that go to waste. I learned a lot from him. Learned a lot about his pace of his fighting, his movements, his consistency, his footwork for sure. I was glad I was able to keep up with him on my feet. I didn't let him get behind me and start hitting me crazy or doing nothing like that, like how he does. I was able to dance with him, and I just had fun. It was a great experience, and I'm happy I got to do that.
That's a definitely a big name to learn from. Has there been anybody else that you've been sparring to or have heard from to maybe join their camps?
We sparred with a few guys in Vegas. We go to Vegas a lot for good work and stuff. Bunch of guys over there. I've sparred with Haney before. That was one time. That was good work. And yeah, just a lot of guys in Vegas. A lot of well-known people. People who've been around for a long time, and I've gotten good experience over there.
What's sparring Haney like? Does he actually hit hard at all?
He has that quick pop to him, but no real weight behind his punches.
Yeah.
Like but he's quick and he has that pop to him, like that quick ta ta ta. And you're like, okay, that just hit me with 3-4 cop punches, like, but it doesn't really do no real damage to you.
Interesting. I'm always curious, man. It doesn't look like, and I guess that makes sense. That's probably exactly what I figured his power was like. Just kind of like surprising, like, oh damn, okay, that came out of nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now your opponent, Jose Jacobo, November 2nd. It is a step up. He's only got one loss on his record. A lot of experience there with that guy. I don't know much about him. Have you guys been able to find any footage? And what do you know about him? And what are you preparing for?
Yeah, we found some things on him. We've checked him out for sure. We wouldn't be taking the fight if we didn't. He's 15-1. He's an upcoming prospect as well. His only loss was like his second fight. So, do you really count that at that point? He's pretty much, in my eyes, he's an undefeated fighter. This is as close as 50-50 gets for me. And I'm excited to take it. We've been preparing accordingly from what we've seen and everything. I know he's preparing too, so we're tightening some things up on my end as well. And we're just gonna be ready for an exciting fight.
Nibs,
where are you hoping this fight takes you? Like, right now you're 18-0, right? I mean, that's a pretty good place to be sitting, at this early in your career. This next fight, like you said, it's a step up for you. You want to continue taking those step up fights, or are you looking to get like the bigger ESPN plus PBC type joints right after that, or where do you think this can take you from?
Well, this fight, we're hoping to fight for a belt. Hopefully they can get us one, WBC, WBO, ideally like Intercontinental or something, or whatever we can get with that. And after that, maybe a title defense and start moving up to those ESPN shows, those bigger shows.
And for some of our fans who are maybe not as, cultured in boxing, they're a little bit more fair weather fans than some of us hardcore guys, right? As a boxer, those regional titles, those intercontinental titles, those international titles, how important are those to you as a fighter? Some people might be like, oh, well, they're not the major ones, but Felix, he loves those titles. You know what I mean? We give him crap all the time, just joking. But as a boxer, like, how important is it to get a strap?
I mean, it's just a great feeling. I got an 8-round one, WBC silver belt. And that was probably one of the best feelings I ever got. Walking up to the ring, that was my first time seeing the belt. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's going to be mine. That's going to be mine. And coming home with it, walking around with it, with my family, showing everybody, it's a good feeling. But not only that, the titles themselves, they help you rank up in your division. And the more you have, the more title defenses you have, you rank up even higher. And that's what gives you those opportunities on the bigger shows, on the bigger cards, and that's what leads to that.
Hey, Trini, you're kind of in a place in your career, like Nib said, where everybody would want to be. Where that we all see that next step, right? Being a local fighter, and we had a local fighter. I got to show love to him too. Rivas on last week, and I feel like he's earlier in his career where you're at, and he was mentioning you. He respected you, but just mentioning you, where you're at, how is it? Because, you have a lot of local guys calling you out, but we understand that you're on that step to the national scene, what is that like, juggling that?
I don't think about it. I don't worry about it. It's not fights I need to make, it's Arizona, I like to support Arizona fighters and we should grow together as a team.
Yeah. And that's one way I see it too, because Arizona's all coming up, and I understand y'all are all fighters, y'all want that position, but at the same time, I feel like that hotbed could be taking out everybody. I was just, when you're in the position you're in, obviously everybody's going to call your name. And I was just wondering how you felt.
We're focused on moving forward, and those fights like that, less experienced fighters, with those records, that's kind of like taking a step back, and we want to keep moving forward. And maybe if they get a few more fights, a few more wins,
Right.
fight somebody who I fought, and see how they do against that. When it becomes beneficial for us, we'll look into that. But as of right now, we don't need to do none of that.
And I think that's understandable. And I'm not trying to speak for you, but I don't think that's disrespect to Rivas in particular, or anybody. I just think, we're talking that next step, that next level. It's almost like you can go national, and hopefully a lot of those Arizona fighters can follow your footsteps and go that route too.
Yep.
Now, I've definitely seen you in the ring with some wars and some sparring wars with some of the local guys too. So there's always that smoke, of course, for sure. Nibs, what other questions do you have here?
I respect your game, right? There's a lot of guys that come on in here. They've got they're trying to knock everybody out every time they come in there and fight. But I respect the avenue that you're taking. Like you said, Ray said, it's more of a Floyd route, right? Where let's be clear. This is called boxing. It's not called punching. It's not called street fighting, right? This is called boxing. So
but we love punching sometimes, man.
Hey, I get it. But at the end of the day, this dude's got to watch out for not only his career, but the longevity of it, right? Like, do you want to be here for a short time, or you want to be one of the greats? You know what I'm saying? Do you? And we were just talking about the Arizona scene a lot, and that's what I meant. A lot of Arizona guys feel like they have to knock these guys out. Do you ever catch any flack from them, or feel like you said earlier you don't really feel like you have to prove to them that you're doing that? But do you ever, I guess, in a boxing world, like we said, you're on that next step. Is it much more appreciated where you're at now, as opposed to like a Rivas guy who's younger in his career might feel like he has to do that to get where you're going? You feel me?
Yeah. No, well, first of all, I have to thank you to all my fans and supporters. They're the ones who let me, who show up to the fights, give me all that support, and they help me. I don't have to prove a point. They're there for me, and they're supporting me. But also, it's like I'm still pressuring. I'm still, if my fights were closer fights, maybe I would feel pressure to have to knock somebody out. So, but my fights are dominant. They're one-sided. I'm coming forward. I'm throwing a lot of punches. I'm landing hard hits. So I'll even be rocking people, and it's clearly I win. Like my last fight, I got the scorecards. Judges' scorecards. I won 9 rounds on 2 of the judges' scorecards. I won all 10 rounds on one of the other judges' scorecards. And I was happy. That was the next best thing from a knockout. So I can't complain about that. And I think if
I respect that, bro.
Keep fighting how I fight, there's no complaining about that.
I actually think it's more dominant what you're doing, right? Like, if you can completely dominate another dude for 9 to 10 rounds, 8 to 10 rounds, that to me, that's harder than just knocking somebody out, bro, in my opinion. So I appreciate that, and I think that that's a lesson for guys that are coming up, that are trying to get to the level that you're at.
I mean, but there's different styles, right? It wouldn't be boxing. We wouldn't love boxing if everybody had the same style. So, I mean, yeah, you got the boxer, you got the slugger, you got all that. And I think, what you bring, that's boxing. That adds to boxing. So of course.
There's a good stat that I just looked up really quickly where you guys were going over that. In the last 4 fights, Trini's only lost 3 rounds. that says a lot right there too. So, and that's over the past couple, like a year and a half. Only 3 rounds over the past few fights. So that shows how dominant you are in the ring right there.
Shoot, I didn't even know that, but that feels good too. Yeah.
I'm about to start making player cards now.
Right.
Before we let you go, Trini, any other last comments you have? And where can people support you on November 2nd?
Well, thanks to all my fans, all my sponsors out there. I appreciate all the support I get. I'm having the best training camps now. These last 2 training camps, they've been phenomenal. So all starts there. And I couldn't do that with all my sponsors and all my fans helping me out. Trini AA at Instagram. That's where you can follow me. You can check me out. And yeah.
Perfect. And
Hey, Trini, I always like to know when we talk to boxers. I mean, I guess I'd say young boxers, but bro, you're kind of on the precipice of being that next level. But who is your fighter or fighters, that you looked up to? Because Felix said you are a fan of the sport. Who are some of your guys?
My favorite fighter would probably be like welterweight Canelo. That's probably my favorite to watch.
Oh,
A little lighter weight, moving his heads, a little more active. That was probably, and that when I was starting out, he was coming up too, and I would love watching those fights for sure. That was probably, welterweight Canelo.
hey, you mentioned him. That's my guy, but we also got an Arizona guy that people put him against. Who you got in that fight? Canelo Benavidez.
We're good friends with Benavidez. Jose Benavidez Sr. He was my coach my first 2 years of boxing.
Cool.
So I'm going with David on that one. I think David got him.
Man, we hope to see it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Although as more as I see Canelo breaking these young dudes down, I'm like, man, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a tough one.
Man, it's just like it's a fight. That's boxing, right? Somebody wins, somebody loses. Man, and then they fight again. We root for both, but I just hope we see it.
Yeah, it'll be a good fight for sure.
Yeah.
Real quick, there's an interesting question that popped in the comments. Will Trini go to ProBox TV? I wanted to throw that out to you really quick before I let you go, because ProBox TV is doing a lot for up and coming fighters on this level as well too. And has that been something you've heard of by chance, or is it something that you guys got your radar on?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, we're open to if the move is right, where I'm at, where the money's at. ProBox TV is obviously great shows, great fights. Most of those fights are good, solid 50-50 fights. They're always good to watch, and I'd be definitely down to go on there and hop on.
Yeah,
can I get one more, Felix?
Yeah, go ahead.
My bad, bro. Hey, where you're at right now, obviously, I mean, in a couple years, I think the world title could be in play. Dream fight right now. Like, if you could make a dream fight right now with anybody, who would it be?
I think dream fight, that's up in the air. The top guys in the division are always moving up and down right now. But I think a good fight for me to make soon would probably be I would take Cambosos. I would definitely take him right now.
That'd be fun. That'd be
that'd be a fun fight.
Felix, right now, bro, I'm betting shots. In the next 2 years, this dude's gonna have a strap.
Oh yeah, I think we can see that for sure. And
I'll take a drink of water for you too, bro.
Well, I'll take a swig for that one right there for sure. That was about it, basically. We definitely appreciate you coming on, and we're gonna have to have you on again. Trini's definitely, as you see, he's got the podcast set up and everything too, so he's definitely gonna be on the show more often.
I was about to ask that, man. Why is your setup better than ours? You stream, you pod. What do you do?
No, I draw a lot, and I used to stream like 5 years ago, my drawing and stuff. But just I'm a gamer, so having a nice setup helps with that. Discord with my friends, playing games and stuff. So
there you go. What do you play?
Whatever's hot at the moment. I play a little bit of everything. Fighting games, RPGs. Like I just played Wukong, Black Myth Wukong. That was a game I played for a little bit. When my friends are on, we play Deadlock, League of Legends, whatever goes.
Oh, he's a gamer. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I do between my trainings. Keeps me in the house, keeps me disciplined. I'm just playing games. I'm just on my diet.
No doubt. Man. I used to really beat Felix all the time and fight night. So this new fighting game that's coming up, man.
I'll be on that with you guys too for sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, that's what. We were literally just talking about that beforehand. We're definitely gonna have some battles on that. There's a few. I was talking to I forgot which fighter it was I was talking to, but it was a local guy because there's a lot of gaming fighters in Arizona that stream and stuff too. And I'm like, man, that would be cool to have a tournament on that game as soon as it drops. So that might be something. Yeah, hell yeah. We'll probably put something together, and then of course I'm gonna bust Ray's head up in that game. He lies
And
so
then when
much.
we lose, we're gonna be like, all right, let's get in the ring right now. Let's go spar.
Hey, I'll let y'all handle that. I'll let y'all handle that. But, yeah.
Hey, there we go. Well, that's my challenge to you, Trini. The first time we play that game, if I lose, I got to get in there and spar with you.
All right. You better train hard, bro, because I'm gonna be training too.
All right, sounds good, man. Why?
No, Felix has that Devin Haney power, though, bro. Watch out.
Hey, Felix, I hope you got your insurance up, bro.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm sure Trini will take it easy on me though.
Yeah, for sure.
I hope he doesn't.
All right. Well, thanks again, Trini, for coming on. Appreciate your time, and again,
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me.
welcome back anytime,
Anytime.
man.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, champ.
Yeah.
Ray,
All
you're
right,
gonna have
there
to
we
let him borrow your mask when he gets back from that fight.
Oh, yeah. Felix going to be looking like Martin, right? Martin, Tommy Hearns.
That was a classic episode. I need to watch that. I was watching some Martin over the weekend, bro.
That's up there. That's up there with like probably top 5, top 10 the hardest I ever laughed. Like from watching something.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like just first time watching it, I remember how hard I was laughing. So,
Bro, that episode, the one I was watching the other night had me dying. The other day, it was when they robbed Martin and Gina's apartment, and Martin was just beating up the dummy, like showing like his friends and everything how to like attack an assailant, a robber or whatever, and he would not leave the dummy alone. Man, I don't know why that shit was like the funniest thing ever. There's that, and then the episode with when Brother Man took Martin's CD player, that was a classic.
Bro,
what was feeling when we were in?
Remember the one with the attack dog?
Yeah, the fake Rottweiler, bro.
No, I was with Felix and he was rocking a Martin shirt. I can't even remember which one it was. And bro, I've never seen just some dude getting so much love from his T-shirt, bro. Everywhere we're walking, everybody's like, I'm like, bro, that is a classic show. And
I think we're gonna have to have a ITR Martin style T-shirt for sure.
we can
Bro,
do it.
between that and In Living Color, bro, like I don't think I've laughed ever that hard in my life. Those two shows, bro.
Yeah.
Classic shit, bro.
Hey, but I also like the ITR, whatever this game's called, fight tournament, bro.
Oh yeah, bro. That I'm telling you, man, that tournament would be dope. I think we're definitely gonna put it together because the game comes out next month, and we can actually get Ralph on here. He's one of the guys that's involved with Undisputed. He's a ring announcer. Of course, local Arizona guy as well too.
Yeah.
We got our hands in everything, bro. But yeah, we might get him on the show just to talk about it and fuck around on the podcast with us too.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool to have we could probably get an eight-man tourney or something.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure that'd be easy. I'm sure there'd probably be at least 16 cats that want to go on that.
All right. Hey, it just makes me look better, but yeah, no, I was wondering, bro, because Trini had a setup, and I'm like, bro, what's going on? Why is he showing this up right here?
Game up.
Yeah, I know.
I gotta step my shit up.
He popped in and I saw this microphone and heard his audio. I was like, all right, this is definitely going to be a nice, smooth interview here.
But I mean, being real, we had Joseph on last week, and I see it, man. Like you see someone that is so close, and Joseph wants to take him out, right? And I respect that 100%. Joseph is a fighter, and then you see Trini, and I'm sure he's a fighter too, but he's just like he's further along in his career, and he's right here.
Yeah.
And it's hard. Like, man, I get y'all want to fight each other, but me, maybe just being a fan of everything that we've covered. Like, hey, bro, let's like dominate all this together, right?
Right. Yeah. And it's true, like you said.
I mean,
like levels and steps of each thing. So it's
there's
like
steps, yeah, for sure.
Guys, when you're crossing the same path at the same time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's like, man, hey, when you guys fight, let's make that for a world title, right? Like, let's bring that back to Arizona and put that real title on the line.
You're right. Yeah.
But yeah, man, I can see where Joseph's coming from. Go ahead, Nips.
I was just saying, it's levels, right?
Yeah.
Trini's on a different level, bro. Like it or not,
Yeah, but and not. I don't think you're saying that like talent or skill wise.
No.
it's just
career.
Yeah, career wise, and shoot, I mess with Joseph like, hey, well, let me get that right now because I can take that. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, I mean, he's this close to being on the national, but that's just opening doors because if they say, hey, you're coming from here, who else is there? And like I said, man, shoot, we've seen just in the past couple months, McCumbee on a national card. These are all Arizona fighters. And they're just busting through those doors.
Yeah. And it's crazy. It's like you said, Nibs, everybody, we talk about it all the time. You definitely do, the starting point where they all come from. And it's great to see, like when you think of like the visual in like a comedic way, I guess you could say, like it's really just like, everybody's trying to claw to the top of the mountain and, everybody is in there. So, starting from the bottom, all these dogs are coming up and, at the top of the mountain, if one day we can have, 2 Arizona fighters fight for a world title, I think that would be a nice little end goal right there. That'd be dope to see because then, the championship is in-house for sure. But,
it's cool having
what is that
like? Like I think me and Ray were saying the same thing before. We were just saying it different ways. But I think it's cool to have contrasting styles as far as fighters are on, right? You have a guy who wants to knock everybody out. You got a guy who's a boxer. What I was alluding to is, hey, look, there are so many guys, I think, from Arizona, they feel like they have to prove something, right? They feel like they have to knock people out to get the attention. It's like, well, here we got a guy who's not knocking everybody out, right? But he's dominating them. You can still get where you need to go without being the knockout artist. If you are a knockout artist, that's great. But it's like, just to prove that there are other avenues and ways to get where you want to in the sport of boxing. And I think that, look, man, Arizona has a shitload of talent, bro. Some of these guys don't always have to you don't always have to follow the same route. Just make sure you figure out what works for you, man, because at the end of the day, like Ray is saying, right, and you guys are saying, we want more belts and more straps coming back to Arizona. So figure out your lane and then make it the easiest way to bring it back, bro.
Yeah, 100%. I would just ask you, Felix, because you're kind of ground level on this the most. What is that like, man? Because I mean, that's just a fighter's mentality. If someone's getting props, man, I'll take that dude out. Everybody's thinking that. But what is it like ground level, seeing all these guys you interact with, kind of like, I don't know, maybe not seeing the big picture and just seeing what's right in front of them? Like, how do you navigate that? Because I'm sure you deal with guys that don't like this guy, don't like that guy, and you're cool with both.
Yeah, and of course, you definitely see that, rival gyms, maybe rival promotional companies. As we know, there's 2 major ones here in Arizona. But I mean, for the most part, I think it just depends. Everybody's kind of on the up and up for the most part. It seems like, that's definitely the culture here. And not that everybody, and just like, Trini said, we're supposed to support each other, the fighters. I do see value in, stepping in the ring against one another when they're at the same level. And I talked about this fight earlier this year. Jesus Ibarra and Elias Terraza, they fought, but their paths are kind of like at the similar point right now. So them fighting made sense, and I feel like there's a lot of local guys who can fight, and it does make sense for them right now.
Yeah, but I mean, like you said, I mean, being at the same level in, let's say, Arizona, either guy can go rack up wins against all these other states.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, we're gonna fight each other because that makes sense right here, but at the same time, we could just go clean house throughout the country. I just imagine, to me, that's just. I mean, I guess it's a promotion manager's job, but it's just crazy because that could kind of, direct how your career's gonna go.
Yeah, and what's crazy is it's definitely one thing that I didn't see, which I'm surprised I don't see more of. But there's I would love to see, on this level, a big Tucson versus Phoenix rivalry stateside. That would be a big fight to have on somebody's card, but we don't have that either. But again, like you said, everybody kind of just supports each other. in that sense. And I think that is kind of the movement, you know, but it's more so like, you know, we're moving forward for our own careers. And, you know, at the same time, we know these are all our colleagues or whatever, in a sense, you know, that's kind of been like the vibe.
Hey, I mean, and if guys keep getting put on major platforms, man, hey, let's do it. You know, I think that was a big step for McCumbee, even though McCumbee is kind of different because I feel like he was with Top Rank at the, you know, national level, but then he worked his way through the Arizona circuit.
Yeah.
And ended up on one of the biggest cards of the year. But yeah, you know, with the performance that he put on, it's going to be like, well, hey, who else is from there? You know, who else can be in these positions? And you fight some of these guys, you fight enough Ochoas or Rivases, hey, those guys are going to do what they do and knock off whoever you think's at the top, you know?
And you know what's crazy? And I'm gonna get a stat because I'm gonna write this in an article at some point. But looking at every major pay-per-view outside of like the Saudi, you know, the Tyson Fury joints and whatnot, every major pay-per-view, like the Canelo card, Gervonta Davis card, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, every major pay-per-view, I think has had one or more Arizona fighter on the undercard this year alone. And I don't think any other region. So you know, California has a big pool. Philadelphia has a strong like boxing culture. All these other places, I don't think any other state can make that claim that they've had one of their own guys on the undercard of every major pay-per-view this year. That says something.
Yeah, for sure, bro. And man, I hope all these Arizona West Coast fighters beat everybody from Philadelphia.
For sure.
Or New York or all that, bro. Like,
we had a chance. We just took an L with Stephen Fulton, but that was a spirited effort, though. But I guess that was our first major setback there. But that
was a robbery, right?
Yeah, Nibs. What was it? Are we going robbery on that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey.
So somebody needed to check their pockets after that. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, getting into this past weekend, before we go into the heavyweight, because that's going to be a fun, spirited conversation, Jaime Munguia, I started watching the card. I got distracted. I didn't get to finish the main event. Real quick, go to take us through that. You know, whoever wants to take it first. Ray, Nibs.
Hey, man, I started that card, and it was our boy, Richard Torres. I was like, okay, man, here's Richard. He was fighting. I know the guy. You guys want to say his name? I'm not gonna say it right.
Joey DeWaco.
Yeah. You know, and we've seen him before, and man, Richard Torres was impressive.
He was.
He's always been impressive. Yeah, he's always been impressive. And our biggest thing is just like, man, why is he at the level he's at right now? Because he's, you know, former Olympian, silver medalist maybe.
Yeah.
And, you know, we just thought that he should be further along in his career instead of fighting these guys he knocks out easy. And he fought another guy that, you know, at least we've heard the name, and he beat him easy, man. So it was cool to see. I think Richard Torres is an interesting character in this heavyweight division. Like, he lacks the size to me, but he's obviously got the skills.
Does he? And I mean that, and I mean that with all due respect, right? Like, let's be real clear. What did you learn from that fight that we didn't already know about Richard Torres? Nothing.
Bro, well, what I have known about Richard Torres, I've known since
he fought a guy who refused to engage. Like, this dude threw as many punches as I could have. Like, that's how bad it was, bro. And I'm not saying that's Torres' fault, right? That's not his fault. You know what I mean? His opponent did not show up to fight. His opponent he made Richard Torres miss a lot, right? He was defensively better than, I guess, his last couple of opponents, but there was nothing coming back. If Richard Torres misses,
why is that, dude?
Because he was scared.
Why wasn't Joey throwing punches? Because he had Richard Torres in front of him. Like, if you're in front of him, I'm guessing Joey's gonna throw punches. So it's like,
right, because
I feel like
he needs to. Richard Torres needs to be in there with a guy who's going to be actively throwing punches against him. That is also a step up. This was a step up, but the guy was shook as fuck. He wasn't throwing his punches, spitting his mouthpiece out, and it didn't. To me, it didn't prove anything. I get it. It's a win for him. He looked really good, but I'm like, okay, give me another guy that's actually going to come in there.
No. I don't mean to be coming to Richard Torres' defense now, bro, because I've been saying this dude should be fighting someone for like a few years. But it's like I felt like that dude didn't want to engage because what Richard Torres was offering. Like we've seen however you say his name against other fighters in entertaining fights. But like Richard Torres shows, yo, I'm past this level. Now, my only thing is like, all right, we know he's past this level. Let's put him in against someone better. Now, who that is, I don't know. Is that a Big Baby Miller? I think he's ready for that. And why isn't that happening? I don't know. Or a Big Baby Anderson, right? They're both top rank. Like, let's see that. End of the day, I thought Richard Torres did what Richard Torres was expected to do. The spitting out the mouthpiece was crazy.
I'm gonna talk about that mouthpiece real quick because he's and real quick, thank you, Picker Leach. It does deserve more viewers, but in due time, they come in. We fluctuate some of these days, but
we enjoy what we do, man. So we appreciate it. We enjoy this. I'm having a good time.
Yeah, that's all it is, man. Get to talk to young guys like Trini and then just shoot the shit. I'm just hanging out with my friends right now talking boxing. That's what we're doing, and you guys just get to watch. But hey, appreciate the support.
You can watch us get drunk on here because we'll bet some shots. Keep watching.
Oh yeah. I think Ray's already probably there right now. I don't know what's in Nibs' cup, but I'm clean. I'm the host. I got to stay clean. But we do bet alcohol shots on here sometimes, and sometimes I'm not, and then that's when the show gets really interesting. But I'm going to read Joey DeJaco on his Facebook page made a quote about the mouthpiece, and this is what he said. To set the record straight, I was not spitting my mouthpiece out on purpose. I was getting hit, and it kept falling out.
That's cap.
There's a lot of people who have opinions on fighters, and they should not be able to, but that's the world we live in. And then he just goes on to say how people are comfortable talking without getting a punch in their face for a receipt and blah, blah, blah. But basically, he went out to publicly say that he was not spitting out his mouthpiece. It was just falling out when he was getting hit. It didn't look like he was spitting it out. I'll be honest, but I'll let you guys talk about that because it doesn't seem based off your reactions that you are with that.
That's crazy that your mouthpiece only falls out when you get really hurt and are about to be knocked out. Like, bro, I was so mad at that ref. Like, man, should there be a break in the action before you stop to grab the mouthpiece? Like, every time this dude got hit and he was on like a real clean shot, that's just when the mouthpiece falls out. Like, and I mean, let me throw this back to the commentators too. Tim Bradley's like, yo, he's spitting the mouthpiece out. He's spitting the mouthpiece out. And then they finally call the disqualification, and he's like, yo, he should have, his mouthpiece didn't fit, and giving him, I'm like, come on.
Right.
Man. Like, Joey, bro, keep it real, bro. Richard Torres, it's nothing against you. Richard Torres was a much better fighter than you, and every time he was hurting you, you were trying to buy time by spitting out the mouthpiece. Like, would you knock me out? Yes. Do I care? No, you were still spitting out the mouthpiece when you were fighting Richard Torres. So, like, what is this? Like, oh, people haven't been in the ring. Like, come on, man. We all saw it.
Look, I'll say this, man.
By the way,
I think it's both things. I think that he does need a better mouthpiece. They made a point of saying, he's got one of those boil bag mouthpieces, the ones back in the day, but. Because he has been in with some heavy punchers, he's been hit hard before, and his mouthpiece wasn't coming out every 5 fucking seconds, right? So to me, that's kind of a bullshit statement. I was getting hit, my mouthpiece fell out. He's been hit a lot more by powerful guys, and his mouthpiece wasn't coming out all the time. So I don't know about that. I think he didn't want to be there, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I think. If you really wanted to keep your mouthpiece in, you would have. And if not, then that's on you. Go to the dentist, get one of them motherfucking mouthpieces that actually stay in your fucking mouth. That's the whole point of having them, in boxing. Go get you a legit mouthpiece instead of some cheap shit. Once you get up to the next level, bro, you got to spend that extra money. But yeah, I just don't think he wanted to be there. He wasn't winning the fight. Now I don't believe he was ever in any trouble getting knocked out. So it does kind of bother me. Like, you're spitting your mouthpiece out, you haven't been knocked down once. What are you doing?
Man, but that's why he wasn't getting knocked down, though. It's like he felt it coming. I don't know, man. I think it was a way to buy time and a way to not get knocked out. And if you spit your mouthpiece out and there's the fighter's right in front of the other guy, I think that ref has to let him go. Like, okay, man, like that's your fault. You're going to lose your teeth. Every time. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that was my thing. Like, that's why I'm kind of on the whole side of him, like, it falling out. Like, I think Tim Bradley was right. I think you did have just a cheap mouthpiece, and I think it did probably fall out because
we ain't doing that. Let me find out Joey's coming on next week. Is that what we're doing?
No, I'm gonna just say that the fact that he still wanted to keep fighting even when the mouthpiece fell out helps his argument.
You know what that helps?
That helps his argument.
No, that helps him get the fight next time because it's not knocked out. It's a DQ. So he's never been knocked out. Yeah. So another up-and-coming heavyweight is going to be able to fight him and get that first knockout. Like,
yeah, true.
That was so predictable to me, man. And then I said, man, this dude's going to spit his mouthpiece out. Sure enough, mouthpiece falls, and he's like, oh, what? Like, come on, man. We know you didn't want to be there. The only thing I would say to Nibs said he didn't want to be there. I don't think he didn't not want to be there until he got hit. And, I expect Richard Torres to be on a level higher than him. But to, like, give him excuses that the mouthpiece was falling out and all this, nah, bro. He was spitting that out. Same way Diego Corrales was spitting that out. It should have been there. I mean, let's be real. Diego Corrales should have been disqualified for the same reason.
My one rebuttal to that is the first time he spit the mouthpiece out, he didn't even get hit. Like, they were just in close, bro, and his mouthpiece came out. Like, and it's like, okay, are you spitting the mouthpiece out because you got hit before and it hurt? Are you spitting the mouthpiece out because you're tired, you're gassed already? Like, what is it? I think that's my one rebuttal to that. Not every time the mouthpiece came out, he was being hit. It just he was spitting it out. That's what made it obvious to me that he didn't want to be there. Yeah. And again, I go back to, he's been hit harder than that, bro. And he wasn't spitting his mouthpiece out every time then. You're right. Is Torres a much better fighter than he is? Yes. Was he ever in danger of getting knocked out? No. So if that's where he's at in his game and he's just trying to set himself up for more money, I don't know. I don't know the guy. This is all speculation, but he just didn't look like a guy who wanted to be in the ring that night other than to get his check and get out of there. So that's why I'm saying it didn't really do much for me. Congratulations to Torres for getting the win. I hope his next fight is against a much better opponent who actually wants to fight.
Yeah, I hope it's against much better. And I would say that, yeah, he's spitting it out to buy time. And, come on, bro. Even if you have a mouthpiece from Walmart and you boil it, it's not just falling out. Like, okay, I haven't been in a pro ring, but I've been in a ring with a mouthpiece. My mouthpiece isn't just falling out. Like, bite down on that. And, to Nibs saying, has he been hit hard before? Yeah, but I'm going to go on and say Rich Torres is the best guy he's ever been in the ring against. So it's different. And I think he was trying to buy time, and I think he deserved the disqualification. But it's kind of weak that he got the disqualification because, like I said earlier, he's going to get another fight now. Oh, he's tough. He didn't lose by knockout in his last fight. He got disqualified. But, like, if we're putting all the cards on the table, Rich Torres stopped him.
Basically, yeah. I mean, that is smart too. Smart way to look at it, the way you're saying, because he's, looking out for his future. That's how you lose victoriously, I guess, and set yourself up for success after a loss. So it's a good point, Ray. I will definitely say too, though, I did see the most improved Richard Torres that I've ever seen before. He was shooting angles. They were talking about his feints a lot, which I did see a lot more of, but mainly just his angles, his in and out, and his patience and his ring IQ is improving. This is a guy whose entire career has been on display for us from the beginning. This is the longest 11-0 career. Like, I think we've literally watched this guy from the beginning, and we're seeing his growth. So it's cool to see. It's seeing his poise and his patience now. I think I can actually see him now moving to the next level, and us actually seeing good results from him. I think the whole consensus before was that he's really not what the top ranked machine is making him out to be, but I think now he's showing that he is.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's competitive against guys, maybe not at that top level, but right before that. And to me, that's Andy Ruiz, Jared Anderson, all those guys. Like, throw them in the mix, and I think it's a lot of entertainment. I think he's too small for that top level. The Joshuas, Dubois, and Fury, Usyk, and them. And Usyk's not even a big guy, but yeah, man, add another player to the game, and I'm all for it.
Bro, give me Richard Torres and Chris Arreola. I'm telling you, that'd be a war right there, and I think that's a winnable fight for Torres. And that's an opponent who he's gonna have to dig deep, and he's gonna taste some leather, and he's gonna have to dig deep and pull that one off too, because that's a lot of experience.
I mean, Areola's older, so. Yeah, but I think he's ready even for Andy Ruiz, bro. Like, Andy Ruiz and Big Baby, they went they had a draw this last time out.
Yep.
I like him against either of those to really see if that's a really crossroads. Go ahead.
You guys are bugging. You really think he's ready for either one of those dudes,
bro?
And I'm not a big Baby Miller fan at all. You all know I can't stand that guy. There's no way in hell they should put him against Big Baby Miller at this point, bro.
Bro, I think so, man. I think his activity, I think the amount of punches he throws. If we're talking Big Baby Miller, Andy Ruiz, the two that fought each other that night, I think he's ready for either of those, honestly.
I think the Miller fight is harder for him to win than maybe the Anderson fight. I don't know. Actually, maybe the Anderson fight is a little harder because Anderson's got more, higher ring IQ, and he's a little gritty. Maybe that one, I don't feel Torres is ready for it exactly yet, but I do think a Chris Arreola or Andy Ruiz is definitely right up his alley. What is your take, Nibs? I don't think he's ready for any of that.
Look, maybe a Jerry Forrest type guy. Maybe a Charles Martin kind of guy.
I knew somebody would say Charles Martin. I knew you were going to bring up Charles Martin.
Don't bring up Charles Martin.
What? The reason I'm saying that, I'm not saying it has to be Charles Martin. Charles Martin type of guy, somebody who's got some ring IQ to him, been maybe a little bit longer in the tooth, but he's coming to win. We saw what he gave Anderson, right? A guy like that who's going to give you some work. He's not getting any work from the dudes he's fought to this point. That's all I'm saying. Give me a guy who's actually going to give Torres some work, give him some adversity to come back from. He's not going to get that from the dudes he's fighting at this level. And so putting him in with a dude like a Miller or a Jared Anderson, yeah, Jared Anderson got knocked out against Bacoli, but I mean, Bacoli's got like dynamite in his hands. You know what I'm saying? Miller, I think, unless he knocks Miller out, I think Miller waxes the floor with Torres at this point in his career. I think before you can consider putting him in there with somebody that's serious, give me some resistance first. He hasn't gotten that yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's been our
without a floaty. Is what you're doing. You know what I mean?
But like, that's been our whole argument against Richard Torres, right? Like, bro, you're too good. Fight someone. You're too good. Fight someone. And then now you're saying like, oh, you ain't ready to fight him. Nah, bro, like fight him.
Cab drivers, bro. He's been fighting guys with day jobs.
But this is my whole thing. This dude, and this has been my thing from the start. This dude is a silver medalist. Like, the skills are there. So
what? I don't give a fuck if he's got a silver medal. He's fighting cab drivers. Give me somebody who's going to give him some resistance, bro. Look, Deontay Wilder.
You're gonna make me a Richard Torres fan, bro. I just want to let you know I'm gonna root for Richard Torres against everybody. Go ahead.
Look, Deontay Wilder was fighting cab drivers forever. Then he finally fought somebody with some resistance, and then we said, "Oh, finally, right?"
But how long did that take, though?
Who was that? Who are we talking about?
I can't even remember the dude's name, but he was actually losing the fight for the first time ever.
The
and then
Haitian?
he dropped the dude because he.
Ortiz?
Nah, it was like what was the Polish dude? You know what I'm talking about? The big ass white boy. And then he dropped him.
Yeah.
It was like some old ESPN top 10 type shit. Like he was, but his right hand saved him. But even that, it's like that was the first time he fought somebody who was giving him some resistance. The rest of these dudes was coming in gym shorts. Like, come on, bro. Like, and I'm not saying Richard Torres has fought, guys wearing gym shorts, but he's been fighting cab drivers. The guy he just fought has a day job. Come on, man. Give me somebody who's going to give him some resistance before we start saying, let's throw him in the deep end and see if he can swim. Because now he's in the kiddie pool.
Bro, I don't think Big Baby Anderson or Miller are the deep end. Like, I think Richard Torres is talented enough. I feel like he's gonna walk through that. I'm not trying to throw him in the deep end. I'm trying to throw him. I think he walks through those dudes. Like, I don't know. I think he's ready for those.
We're gonna have to agree to disagree.
Let's do it. We got to throw some shots on it when my boy Richard Torres, silver medalist, comes in, cleans the floor with your boys.
Okay.
What's the Cuban dude's name? Southpaw. I can't think of his name.
Luis Ortiz.
Luis Ortiz.
Yeah.
You be fine with that?
No, but yeah, go ahead, put him in there.
I mean, Ortiz is probably about 53.
All right, I
bet 5 shots if you put him against Luis Ortiz right now that he loses that fight.
I'm gonna read you.
Bro, that's wild. That's wild.
I'm gonna go to the top 20, the bottom half. So from 11 to 20, and you tell me if any of these names you think he can get in there with, because I think he might be able to mix it up with a couple, maybe on the 20 to 30 list. But I'm gonna throw down some names here: Frank Sanchez, Dillian White, F.A. Jagva, Otto Wallin, Justice Cooney, Derek Chisora, Jared Anderson, Joe Joyce, Murat Gassiev, Fabio Wardley, and Luis Ortiz. So out of those names, you don't think he's ready for any of those nibs? All right. I guess not. So
That's true, bro. I think he's actually above those, Felix. But I wouldn't mind one of those being his next fight.
Yeah, we'll see. I think there's names, man. He's currently number 27 in the world. He's ranked right above Big Baby Miller. And then there's guys like Guido Vianello. I see him on here. Deontay Wilder, believe it or not, is ranked lower than Torres right now currently. But there's some other guys. Carlos Takam is another name that I see here. So I mean, there's some dudes. I think Richard Torres. Can
you read me off like 7-1?
So yeah, I'm gonna have to get that back up again.
Oh, my bad. If not, that's fine.
No, I'll get it. But with all right, 7-1, that would be Joseph Parker, Bacoli, Joshua, Caballel, Fury, Dubois, and Usyk.
I don't think he's ready for those.
Yeah, no, definitely not ready for those at all. But he's getting there, and I think finally we're getting to the point now where Top Rank sees the actual potential. And I think they're going to push Richard Torres in the right direction. Within his next fight, I think we could see somebody with a good name behind him. Satisfied.
I mean, maybe now that I think about it, maybe Chisora, because Chisora's like old as shit. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe he could do something to him, because he's on his way out, or should have been. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that guy seems to have like 9 lives in the heavyweight division.
Bro,
I don't know what.
I know. That's where that.
Let me ask Picker Leach is tuned in. where do you put Richard Torres at?
Yeah.
I guess I don't know. I think I have him top 15, maybe breaking that top 10. Niz is just completely not having it.
My thing is who is he beating that warrants being in the top 15?
All right,
Nobody.
but who is shown that he's not top 15?
Like I felt the same. To be fair, I felt the same way about Jared Anderson. Right? Who had he beaten up to the point he got the Piccoli fight? I thought the Piccoli fight was way too early for him. Way too early.
But once he cried and said
the same shit about him, right?
No. I wasn't Niz because once he cried and was like, I don't even they're mean to me, whatever. I don't even like this. I was like, bro, that dude ain't it. Richard Torres hasn't shown me that.
He had a human moment. He had a human moment. Don't take that again. Don't put that against him. But yeah, no, I mean he wasn't that, but and again, I'm not saying us here, but everybody was saying that dude was the next great American hype, right? Jared Anderson was. We saw how that worked out.
I think that was just you and Jack.
Yeah.
Nah, bro. People were legitimate talking about this dude's like the next best thing. That's why they put him in with Piccoli in the first place. He wasn't ready.
That definitely sounds like a Friday night kind of thing there.
Friday night with the Dakota special guest. That's
nah, bro. Even ESPN was talking about this dude was great, and I'm like, he hasn't fought anybody worth a damn yet. And the one fight he did have where he got some resistance, the Charles Martin fight, he got knocked down and to me, he barely won the fight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he won rounds, but he didn't look anywhere near how they were claiming he was. No. My thing is this: Richard Torres hasn't even had that yet. So how are we talking about he's top 15? He hasn't even had a resistance fight yet. He's been fighting cab drivers, and we're talking about he's top 15. Get out of here, bro.
I'm with you, but I feel like with Anderson, there were people that showed to me he wasn't that. Even though, Torres, bro, we talk about this all the time that he hasn't fought anybody, but I feel like nobody that he's fought has showed that he isn't top 15. Like he's done what he was supposed to do with the person in front of him.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If Alabama does nothing but beat App State and Western Kentucky all season, are they still the number one team just because we know they haven't lost yet? Nah,
I mean, they're going to be in the playoff, right?
I'm saying you have to play somebody or fight somebody that's going to make it to where you earn that number, bro. You can't just give it to him because we think he is that talented. I might think Richard Torres. And again, I want people to understand, I like Richard Torres.
But yeah, you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? I didn't like Richard Torres until about 20 minutes ago, bro. we come on this all the time and they're like, bro, why is Richard Torres not fighting anybody? He got knocked out in that world boxing, whatever. But now you have me. I'm Richard Torres's
biggest supporter now.
Yeah, let's do it. But I feel you, but yeah.
Yeah, that's we've spent a long time talking about Richard Torres, and he gets a lot of love for somebody who's never been on this program before as a guest. We spent a lot of time talking about his career, whether he has a fight or not. We definitely go down Richard Torres rabbit holes a lot. I think it's
I just feel it's one of those like interesting spots in boxing. Like, he won a silver medal. He's completely fought nobody. And yeah, I mean, we're about 20 minutes into talking Richard Torres. So
I know. Me and Ray are usually on the flip side of this conversation. You know what I mean? I'm usually trying to give him his flowers and Ray's ripping them.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I think it's the day that we do have him on, because I think we do need to get him on there, because there's gonna be a lot of questions, and I'm sure a lot of fans are gonna want to participate. But that's going to be a fun interview, because he's actually an entertaining guy too, if you look at his social media. But yeah, I think out of everybody fighter we talk about, I think we probably talk about Richard Torres the most, but it's also because he fights often as well too. So
he beat Stephen Shaw, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That's not aging well, by the way. I just want to point that out.
No, I'm saying he would. He didn't. He hasn't, but he would.
Yeah.
But all right. So the next fight on this card, what the heck was the damn next fight on this card? I don't even remember. What was it, Nibs?
The main event, right?
Was it the main event? Well, before that,
Yeah.
we had Emiliano Vargas, right?
Yeah. So the Richard Torres was the co-main event.
Take us through the undercard because I know you were watching that early on and you were throwing out some crazy stuff in the chat.
I mean, Emiliano Vargas. I mean, he's just proven that Fernando Vargas is doing it right, bro. When it comes to the way he's got his boys in there, Emiliano was actually in there against probably, I wouldn't say his hardest fight, but it's definitely his toughest opponent. Like his opponent was, those Irish guys are like the Mexican fighters, right? They're all blood and guts, no matter what their skill level is. Dude just wasn't on his skill level. I think Emiliano, there's no secret, he's like even levels above his brothers, and they're all undefeated. But I think he's got the best shot of actually getting a title shot. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's fighting some serious contenders. If it's not his next fight, at least next couple of fights. And I mean, shit, with his last name, he might be fighting for some kind of trinket in the next, 2 or 3 fights, bro.
Interesting. That's a bold call out right there. What weight does he fight?
Is it though? I mean,
I don't even remember.
Basically, with his daddy's name, he could probably call his shots if he gets a contender next and knocks him out, bro. But again, it was impressive because he did how we say it all the time. You treat a bum like a bum, right? He did his job. He did exactly what you want to see from him, and he got to do it out of there. So, mad respect to him, bro. And I'm not even that big a fan. I just know that they're doing the shit right. I can't knock it.
Yeah. Again, when it comes to moving in prospects along, Top Rank does it like nobody else. It just after that next level is when shit gets real. But Top Rank they had that machine for a reason, man. They know what they're doing. Definitely the best matchmakers in the game, I want to say. And they're even their shows are just tight from beginning to end. There's not a lot of dead space or anything like that. You'll definitely see that in other programs.
I want to say really quickly, I know we're talking about Vargas and we'll move on, but the fight, the knockout of the night was Alan Garcia getting knocked out cold by a journeyman dude. Fernandez, I can't remember what the dude's first name was. Alan Garcia got caught trying to be real cute and got knocked out cold. Hopefully that young dude comes back, and can, improve his defense. But that was the surprise of the night for me, was that knockout.
Yeah, that actually gave us a crazy clip. I seen the trainer. They had the camera on the trainer saying, "Oh, he just needs to," as
boom.
She starts crying immediately in that. But yeah, I hadn't followed him too much. I don't know, like undefeated, obviously, and he was one of their prospects. But to see that's crazy.
Yeah, he'd been on ESPN, I think, twice before. Like I saw him twice before. He looked really impressive. So it surprised the shit out of me.
Speaking of the Vargas brothers, so the one that fought, that's the one that people say he's the one, Emiliano. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I seen Keyshawn going at him, and I mean, I guess that's not surprising. We kind of see Keyshawn going at everybody, but
yeah,
Emiliano's not Keyshawn's level yet, right? Nibs.
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah, he's not there yet. He's not far off though.
Okay.
He's getting there. Brothers are nowhere near Keyshawn level. Like his brothers are like years behind him, which is crazy because he's the baby.
Yeah, and that is crazy, but that kind of shows you what Top Rank sees if they signed one and not the others. But yeah, Keyshawn was saying like, "Hey, let's do this brothers battle." I was like, "Keyshawn, I didn't know you had brothers." But
yeah,
he got fighting brothers too. Yeah, he's got there's 3 of them too.
Yeah, and he was like, "Let's do brothers," and he was going in on Fernando and everybody. And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I don't know if the Vargas boys want that, but I don't know. It was interesting to me."
I wouldn't mind seeing that. That'd be a first. Anytime there's a first of something like that, that'd be pretty cool.
Well, let's get the Russells in there then too if we're doing that.
Yeah. I think the Russell. Well, actually, no, the Russells are big. Just Gary, that's the small one. Yeah, that would be that'd be dope.
Yeah, but the
No
Russells
Survivor Series.
the Russells had a rough go of it the last time out, bro. Shit didn't go well for them last time.
Yeah, I know. It's not looking good, but hey, they're good. That's a talented ass family still. So there's still hope. Gary Antoine, I'm curious to see what continues, because I still think he's a dog at 140. Man, he definitely has a lot more to prove and keep going at that division.
I think of the ones that are actively fighting, he's the best one.
But
but they just got to work on some shit, bro. I think, and I'm not gonna harp on it too much, but losing their pops was a hit to them, their careers, bro. Not just them personally, but their careers, because you could see the difference, bro.
Who did he lose to? They lost to the Ukrainian that kind of Postal. Was that who he lost to?
Victor Postal.
I think he beat Victor Postal.
No, didn't wait. Who did he lose to? Nibs is gonna get. He's a fact checker tonight.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm not even gonna lie. I've been munching on this little candy this entire time, but this pumpkin spice caramel, this Ghirardelli pumpkin spice caramel, is next level. I don't know if you guys like this kind of stuff, but this fall, it is pumpkin spice caramel. I'm telling you, it's probably the best chocolate you'll ever have.
That's the softest shit I've ever heard you say in my life, bro.
I hope that was sponsored, actually.
No, it wasn't sponsored, but it's if Ghirardelli, you already know.
He knocked out Victor Posto in the 10th round.
Right, yeah.
With like 30 seconds to go. He beat Rancis Bartholomew and then Kent Cruz, some nobody, and then he lost to Alberto Puello, split decision.
Yeah, the Postal was kind of they stopped that. Now I remember they stopped it. Yeah, kind of gave him a knockout. It wasn't really a knockout, but okay, I remember.
All right, take us through the main event, because we've already gone so long. We're not going to be allowed to talk about Richard Torres again, but take us through the main event really quickly. How did Jaime Munguia look post Canelo?
To be honest with you, I thought he started off rough. I thought, I was like, oh shit, there was a little bit of that. Oh wait, did he get too much punishment kind of going on? But it just took him a couple of rounds to figure it out, bro. And I think that, myself included, we all kind of underestimated his opponent. We thought he was just going to get in there and get washed. You know what I'm saying? But his opponent was legit. He came to fight. He was a legit dude. He was boxing his ears off for the first couple of rounds, and then, Jaime caught him with some shit, and dude wasn't ready for it. Like, you know what I mean? Jaime Munguia can definitely, got hands. So after he clipped him a couple of times, it was his fight, bro. He I would say from the 4th round on, he dominated the fight. It wasn't close after that. And then you can see it even in the knockdown that stopped the fight. Dude got knocked down, but he was thinking, like, should I stand back up? You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, oh, I'm super duper hurt. It's, I don't really want any more of this. Because as soon as the count got to 9, he was standing back up. But you could tell he did not want any more smoke from Jaime Munguia. And so hats off to him, bro. I think he weathered an early storm, figured it out, and he got back to what we're used to seeing out of him. And it was a good win for him. I think this was actually better than putting him in with somebody he could just go in there and whitewash, pillar the post or get a quick, easy knockout. This was a really good win for him, and I think this puts him right back in position to get another fight against one of the top guys, if not get another title shot, in a couple of fights. If Canelo's down, anyway.
No, I mean, 100%. I thought this was a showcase going into it, and I thought Jaime Munguia delivered. Like, maybe the first couple rounds, he was outboxed, but I felt like Munguia was always in control. Obviously, to me, it stood out. His power was going to be the difference early. And, my biggest complaint was my complaint a lot of times, like, Tim Bradley, what were you watching? Like, the fight wasn't close to me, and I thought the writing was on the wall where the fight was going to end, which is where it ended. And I wrote Nibs like, yo, are y'all watching this dude get beat up? Because while that's happening, Tim Bradley's like, yo, Munguia's working himself back into this fight. I get you got to paint a narrative and kind of create a storyline, but that was a showcase fight, and Munguia put on a show. I thought he looked good. I thought he looked impressive, and I want to see him again. Like Nibs said, I think there's at 168, not even talking Canelo. Let's talk Berlanga. Let's talk Plant. Let's talk McCumbee. Let's talk, Andrade. Like, bro, there's fights there. And Munguia, he showed me that he might be the second best guy there,
And if anything, between last weekend and this weekend, what is Canelo doing? He's winning. He's putting over these young guys. He's doing what they do in wrestling. The old talent is getting the new talent, putting them on. These are the guys, Munguia, Berlanga, that are going to now lead the division for many years to come. So, shout out to Canelo for even doing that. Obviously, he's taking these wins, but that's a good thing on his end because those wins against just these two dudes here alone is going to age very, very well. Because I think Munguia and Berlanga are both going to be tremendously better fighters after, fighting him.
And Plant, bro. Like,
yeah, definitely.
And then Plant, and then we see McCumbee against Plant. So, everybody, obviously the fight we want to see is Canelo Benavidez. But if we remove Benavidez from the situation, which he's kind of done himself by going to 175, like Canelo has fought everybody. I'll give you David Morrell, but at 168, it's like these guys are obviously the best there. You look at Munguia this past weekend, you're like, wow, that dude's for real. And then you got Berlanga, Plant. It's like 168 is actually, to me, very exciting, and it's because Canelo has fought everybody, and that's made it exciting.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only person that he hasn't really whooped up on that's still in the division is, Mbili. Everybody loves to see him because of the way he fights. I wouldn't be mad at a Munguia Mbili fight. You know what I mean? I think that would be, all action. And I would actually favor Jaime in that just because I think he's got more boxing tools, than Mbili does. But Mbili would make any fight he gets next interesting. You know what I mean? Because of his motor and his power. So
I'm going to throw a name out there. He's a sleeper. He's definitely a sleeper in the division, but Shane Mosley Jr., bro, that dude he's still a dog, man. And I don't know how he fares against the top guys, but I want to see what he's made of.
You mentioned Shane Mosley Jr. I think I would like to see Diego Pacheco against him. And let them have that little crossroads fight. Like the winner from that, okay.
That's a good one.
You kind of move on.
Yeah.
Because Pacheco's coming up quick. And and Mosley after an L, he's kind of worked himself back into that. Like, I'm with you. I think he's made himself a player. But yeah, Diego Pacheco's coming up quick. I mean, we even have the dude that Rosado knocked him out, but he's came back since then.
Oh yeah, Beck
the bully. Like, yeah, like there's levels within these levels that a lot of fun fights could happen. So yeah, 168 is fun, man, and I don't think there's any doubt about it that Canelo is king.
Oh yeah.
Obviously you got Benavidez and Morrell, but as of late they've moved to 175, and they're such big guys. I don't know if they could get back to 168.
Yeah,
I think Morrell could. I don't know if I'd advise Benavidez to.
Hey,
he might be able to, but
that paycheck might make him. That's life-changing money right there. And that might have been Canelo's plan the whole time.
Killing himself to get to 168 though, bro. That shit was.
That's part of the game.
And then that would give him a built-in excuse if he loses to Canelo, right? Like the shit he'd had to go through just to make the fucking weight at this point.
But I mean, if you're Canelo, like, hey, that's what you wanted, right? You wanted this fight. That's what I think maybe the plan was the whole time. And I don't think Canelo put a rehydration clause on him, but come on, we've seen fighters go up in weight and then try to get back down. Roy Jones Jr. immediately comes to mind.
Yeah.
But with the money that's going to be offered for that fight, I would think David Benavidez, that's probably something he would do if offered.
Oh yeah, I think he would do it, and I think he would do it. So
I call him junior. I don't think he's a junior. I don't know why I said that.
I think he'd do it super strategically because I think he had an easy time making weight against Caleb Plant, and it might not have been necessarily easy, but it seemed like he made it. He stuck to the game plan, and he was pretty proud of it too. I think if the Canelo fight came about, I think he would make it without a problem. He's still young enough. As well to kind of make it and be healthy.
But it's got to be tough though, man. He's a big guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Without a doubt. We'll see if that fight ever comes to fruition, man. I don't know.
But I think Pacheco's coming up quick, man. And you mentioned Mosley Jr. I'd like to see Pacheco start knocking off the bottom of these names that we're mentioning.
Yeah, I think that'd be a perfect opponent for him too. And they're both under the same umbrella at PBC. Or actually, no, I'm sorry. Shane Mosley Jr. is with Golden Boy.
Which I think Beck the Bully is too, right? So hey, let's throw
there we go.
In there.
Yeah. But so is Munguia. Munguia is also there too.
Munguia's top now, right?
I think Shane Mosley is a lot harder out than people give him credit for too. Like I think, you know what I mean. Like if we're talking like gatekeeper type guys, that would be the perfect litmus test for a lot of these guys, like Pacheco, like Ray is saying. Because I think people do look at him as maybe the weakest link, but he's going to be a lot harder than a lot of these kids think he is to beat. So,
oh yeah,
I like that. I like that matchup actually.
Yeah, his career kind of journey. I think, obviously he came in. He's Shane Mosley, and then he kind of went to that contender, but I feel like he's gotten a lot better since then.
Oh yeah,
and became an actual contender.
He's done it the hard way, bro. He's just learned on the job, and credit to him too, because a lot of kids who are kids of somebody famous come in and they lose and they're like, fuck it, I'm out. He's stuck with it, bro, and he's gotten a lot better. So I'm not saying he beats a Pacheco, but I think it'd be a much better fight than people might think.
Yeah, no, I think Shane's going to put a spirited effort together for sure because he's improved. He's definitely improved, and all of that stuff in the beginning was a good experience for him for sure. Having the name, the notoriety that comes along with being Shane Mosley Jr., making your pro debut, being on the contender, all of that. But I want to say everything that he's earned for himself as far as who he is right now, currently, he's done on his own, and I can't say that Shane Mosley Sr. Obviously Shane has all the credit in the world for that, right? But I can't say Shane Sr. or the contender helped Shane Jr. get to this point right now. I think this is all in his own doing, and that's boxing. That's the beauty of boxing. You can literally fight your way back to the top, and he's done that.
And he's having a better career right now than the guys that he's lost to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, without a doubt.
You said the beauty of boxing. The ugly side of boxing is I saw this week that Shane Mosley Sr. has a fight scheduled. Like,
oh my
what?
God. Who's he fighting?
It seemed like it was a celebrity type boxing, but come on, man. He doesn't belong in the ring against anybody, I don't think.
Not at all.
Yeah. But I mean, we were talking Mosley Jr., and of course you can't say that. Without saying, he was on he has a reel or ad, right? Talking about his next fight. And it was hard to even watch. I don't think I even finished it. I'm like, come on, man, you don't need to be doing this.
But that's what everybody wants to see now, right?
What's
that?
What
I mean, I said everybody wants to see that shit now, right? I mean, look at how many people are clamoring for this Tyson and Paul shit. Like, it's. I don't like it either. Like Mayweather, go sit your ass down someplace, bro. Like, you know what I mean? I'm sick and tired of these goddamn exhibitions. But people love that shit. They're eating it the fuck up. I don't know.
We're getting closer to November, bro. I can't wait till Jake Paul, Mike Tyson conversation starts sparking up again. It's gonna be our best time to talk to you. You're probably not gonna come on the shop on Monday nights during that time, are you?
I'll come. How come? But I tell
man,
you what.
I might not, bro. Like that just seems that just seems all bad to me, man. Like,
I
because
was told before on Mike actually still having a shot, but I don't know if I have if I'm as excited as I was when the fight first got signed.
yeah, like my whole thing is that, like, man, Jake's actually pretty good, right? Like, yo, we've talked about, could Jake become a world champion?
No.
And then, yo, but that's my whole thing. Like, yo, maybe he could, right? Like at cruiserweight or whatever. But then we're gonna throw in 60-year-old Mike against that. It's like, nah, because I wouldn't pick 60-year-old Mike to become cruiserweight world champion. He's too old. So, like, how are these two fighting each other?
Is
That's
Tommy
crazy.
Fury a world champion? Is Tommy
No.
Fury a world champion? No, and he can't beat him. So no. Look,
Nibs. Name me the top 5 cruiserweights.
I can't tell you.
Exactly. That's why I give Jake Paul.
I can guarantee you they all whoop his ass. Mike Tyson is somebody's grandfather, bro. Like, why the fuck is he in the ring? Like, I don't need to, and I'm not going to watch that. It's sad, bro.
Yeah, bro.
It's just it's to me, it's even sadder than the Holyfield thing. Like, Holyfield getting knocked out by an MMA dude. Like, I didn't need to see that at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, bro, like, yeah. And I mean, if Nibs, you got to at least admit Jake Paul has power. And, you know, if I see Mike Tyson go down like Nate Robinson, or like, come on, man, I have no business ever seeing that.
Right.
I don't know. I hope that fight doesn't happen. I mean, the undercard seems good with Serrano and Taylor and Barrios and Ramos, but there's no need for Tyson to fight Jake Paul.
My son is 6'2", 220 pounds, and he can punch a hole through a brick. Does that mean he's going to be a world champion? Fuck no. You know what I mean? Look, I get it, and he's much better than people do give him credit for. I will admit that Jake Paul is way better than than he was when he fought Nate Robinson. Right? He's come a long way, but you're still nowhere near even a contender, bro. You can't beat Tommy Fury, and Tommy Fury is trash.
But so Nibs, by saying that though, you're kind of making the argument of why this fight should happen. Because you're saying Jake Paul's really bad. He can't even beat Tommy Fury, and I think that's gonna give people like, all right, well, Mike Tyson can actually fight, so he can beat Jake Paul.
What
I'm saying, like, bro, Jake Paul. Go ahead.
What does that have to do with the cost of tea in China? Nothing. Mike Tyson shouldn't be fighting. Mike Tyson shouldn't fight any of us, let alone somebody who's actually got pro boxing experience. Nah, bro. I don't need to see it. Like, nah.
We'll see what happens in
Mike Tyson will
November.
whip my ass, and he shouldn't be fighting me. Like, come on.
We got plenty of time to talk about November.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get there.
We're already at the show end time, and we haven't even talked about the main topic tonight. So let's get into that really quickly. There was nothing on this undercard worth even talking about, I don't think, right? The Dubois Joshua undercard.
Not really.
No, nothing that stood out to you guys.
I mean, since we're on a
Well, I saw Warrington's going to retire.
No, we're not on a crunch for time, but let's. I don't want to waste time talking about. Well, I know how upset you get when talking about Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, and we don't want to upset our special guest host. Since you guys know Nibs is he's a co-host of Friday night's Catch and Counter program. He's just here tonight because Chicago Bears didn't do so well, and he needed to hang out with his boys. But anyway, yeah.
Hey, Nibs, how bad is Caleb Williams?
I don't think he's bad. I think he's a rookie, right? And I think the expectations were, oh well, he's the number one pick. He's gonna do what all these other guys have done. He's gonna be this great thing. And it's like, people forget, bro. A lot of the dudes that are GOATs that we consider GOATs sucked their first year or two in the league, bro. So I don't think he's he's bad. I just think he's a rookie. It's going to take time. I think he'll be better. But
I was always a Justin Fields guy, and I thought they did Fields dirty. And
they did.
Yeah,
they did because the management that's in place now didn't want it. So they did what they had to make him look really bad so they could justify moving on from him. And now he's 3-0 with the fucking Steelers. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, was he bad or were they bad for him? And I think that's what it was. I think if they'd have kept Justin Fields, we'd be 3-0 right now. To be honest with you. And if they not only if they kept him, but they gave him an honest shot, right? If you gave Justin Fields all the weapons Caleb Williams has right now, you kidding me? Get out of here, bro.
Yeah. I like Fields, bro, so that kind of makes me not like Williams. And I've always felt like Williams is kind of, thinks he's kind of better than everybody. Well, I mean, we got off topic. That's what we do. Go ahead, Felix. My bad, bro.
It's like when Nibs asked us earlier if we had a topic list. I was like, bro, this is Monday. What do you think? What do you think?
I will say one more thing, though. I will say about Caleb Williams, I'm on record saying I thought he was the 5th best quarterback in this year's draft. And everybody thought I was crazy for saying that. And look at Jaden Daniels. Look at Bo Nix. They're playing better than him right now.
And my boy Spencer Rattler's just waiting.
I'm just saying, people think he was the bee's knees, and I'm like, what did he do in college that made you think he didn't win anything other than the Heisman?
No,
but he won an award, but he wasn't winning games. And when he played against other elite teams, he lost.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
I mean, crying in his mom's hands. I seen him cry when he'd lose against Utah. Like I don't know. That's a crazy. The way that everybody was so for sure that he's the number one, so good. I never bought into it, but we'll see.
Let me find out he's pulling a Shakur Stevenson, getting the crying going after the taking that.
Yeah, he did 100%.
Well, the main event.
I think he's got a long way to go. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Daniel Dubois, Anthony Joshua. Not what any of us expected at all. You guys got into it yesterday, Nibs. Really good, program last, for the weekend recap show. Actually, you guys did that Saturday night, which is cool. The weekend recap show could be Saturday night, Sunday afternoon, whatever. That's the beauty of it. But make sure you guys tune in for up to date live. While it's still fresh in our minds. But you guys were talking about it yesterday, Nibs. Really quickly touch on the fight again, and kind of what you and Dakota both talked about yesterday.
I mean, I think it's this, right? For me, I think that Anthony Joshua as a championship level contender is done. And what I mean by that, am I saying his career is over? No. Am I saying he can't get back to a championship fight? No. But I don't think that he's legitimately going to test anyone at that level that's there right now. You take the top 3 guys, right? Dubois, who just whooped his ass, right, for 5 rounds. You take Usyk and Fury. He doesn't beat any of those guys, right? And they've got all the belts. So I mean, Fury doesn't have one right now, but there's no way Fury fights him now, right? Fury's going to fight the winner, fight Usyk. If he beats Usyk, then they're going to run it back. Or if Usyk wins, he's probably going to fight Dubois again because he's got the IBF belt. So I think Joshua's on the outside looking in. Coming into the fight, though, just like I told you guys, I thought his power was going to test Dubois' chin more than I thought Dubois was going to test his, vice versa, right? But I did say, hey, no matter who wins this fight, it's not going to 12. Somebody's getting knocked out. I just didn't expect Anthony Joshua to get his ass thoroughly handed to him
that quickly too.
And bro, from the beginning, like he didn't look like himself at all. Like Dubois came in there and bullied the shit out of him, and outside of the last 20 seconds when he caught Dubois and then tried to come in and knock him out, there was nothing he was doing that was impressing you, or at least for me. And then he gets caught because he drops his left hand and loads up, and he got caught getting over anxious trying to capitalize on that, punch he lands, and then he gets slept. So I think the world is at Daniel Dubois' feet. I think it validates everything that he's been saying and his team has been pushing. This dude is that good, and he proved it. Like, a lot of us thought he won that Usyk fight because a lot of people thought that Usyk punch, that body blow, was legit, and Usyk was down for minutes, right? So, and he was giving Usyk problems before he got stopped. So I think this proves Daniel Dubois. Hey man, if you think he's an easy out, that's not going to go well for you. And I think outside of the top two guys, he's easy money. And if you had any kind of money, you should have put it on him because he was plus 900. Good Lord, have mercy.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that at all. That would have been a great payout right there because I didn't expect that. Go ahead, Ray. I know you got some stuff to talk about this one too.
No, man. I think Nibs covered it. If anything, though, I think that it was a quick fight and Joshua got knocked out, but I think Joshua showed he was on the verge. To me, he was on the verge of knocking Dubois out.
I think so too. Yeah.
And the first punch landed, and he had him hurt. He had him in the corner. Now, why he chose to go with an uppercut from far out and drop the hand, I'm sure he's thinking about right now. But I still think Anthony Joshua could be box office. And that maybe he's not at that top level. Maybe he's not at the top guys. But I think his power almost keeps him in and gives him a chance against anybody, at least to sell a fight, And we talked about it earlier, Felix. Hey, coming off a loss that early, I want to see him fight Deontay Wilder. I still want to see it. I think this is a chance for it to actually happen.
I do too, man. I'm hyped. I'm hopefully that happens. We'll get into that in a second. I'll let you finish your initial thoughts.
No, that's to me, like I said last week, Joshua winning would be best for boxing because he's box office. I still think he's box office. And even though he got beat, he showed to me, he was almost going to win that fight. He did something dumb, threw the uppercut or whatever. But I think this fight gives us Joshua Wilder, and then this fight kind of pushes up Dubois up to those top three guys. Where, hey, now I'm looking like if Usyk beats Fury again, like that Dubois knockout was like legit. It wasn't luck because look what he's doing against everybody else. So,
exactly.
Hey man, I think the heavyweight boxing is really fun right now, and I think there's a lot of fights to be made. Let's just hope they get made.
And it's crazy to think again because we were talking about Deontay Wilder retiring. Nobody wanted to see him fight anymore. And now we want Deontay Wilder again back for the super fight that we've been wanting for many years, which is Anthony Joshua. Had Joshua not looked the way he did this last weekend and got blown out, we wouldn't be calling for the Wilder fight. So now that brings that into the forefront again. And then Daniel Dubois just at this point is looking like Mike Tyson in his prime, the way he's just running through. And again, he did more or less however you want to look at it. It looked like a knockout body punch to me. That clip is circulating online again, and it definitely looked like a knockout. He got Usyk out of there. So there's that argument, and I think he's next in line for the whenever Fury and Usyk finish their business, if they go 3 fights or if it just ends at the second one, I think Dubois has earned his right to get into there, for whoever the champion is at that time.
Yeah, Dubois earned that, and I mean, he said Picker Lee said right there, AJ literally landed once. Man, that's what we love about heavyweights. Sometimes that's all you need. And I mean, obviously it isn't what AJ needed because he landed once and it wasn't quite enough. But man, it was close. Like I said, I mean, he was going for the kill. That's what I saw. But I think we were talking about earlier Richard Torres and where does he fit in this? There's probably 10 heavyweights, and we can mix them up and make some really good fights.
Oh yeah.
Really, there's probably 15, 16, maybe even more that, type of fights where we don't know what's going to happen. And I think that's what makes the heavyweight division fun.
Without a doubt.
Point, I would say the only person on that list that is completely done is Wilder. And I know everybody kind of wants to see the fight again now because there's more intrigue to it because of the way AJ lost and the way and Wilder has been knocked out. Wilder looks washed, right? Even though AJ got his ass whooped in this last fight, he didn't look washed. He just got beat by a better guy, right? Because he kept getting up. And like Ray said, he clipped him. And if he hadn't dropped his fucking hand, might have done some damage and fucked around and won the fight if he'd have been more defensively sound, right? Wilder looks like a guy who doesn't even want to be in the ring his last two fights, right? He's just hoping his right hand saves the day.
Yeah.
I think Wilder is washed. I think he's done. Joe Joyce, I think he has an opportunity to come back. I don't think he's going to be on the level that we all thought he was going to be. Dylan White, I still think is a viable, top 15, top 20 option for some guys and can make some money. Do I think he's a championship level guy? Nah. But, AJ, to Ray's point, is always going to be box office, right? He's going to sell tickets no matter who he's fighting. And I agree with that. I just don't think he's going to win the box office fights at this point.
But I mean, hey, Nib, so, I mean, if you want a comeback fight and kind of leapfrog right back into that, let him knock out Deontay Wilder. And I agree. I think Deontay Wilder is almost washed, but, let's keep it real. He fought Big Bang Zhang. That's a really big puncher. And, where obviously I would say he's washed, like you're saying, washed because he does look gun shy, right? He doesn't look like he wants to really throw the punch. But if I'm AJ, that's probably the biggest fight to come back against, right? You're going to sell out.
Big money. Oh yeah, it's big money. Don't get me wrong. I just don't need to see it. I think AJ wins that fight unless Wilder lands his lucky punch, right? He lands his weapon. It doesn't look like Wilder's willing to even throw it anymore, right? He's like you said, he's gun shy now. And when you're a shooter and you've got one weapon, right? You've got your long range rifle that's knocking everything down the second it hits, but you gotta throw that motherfucker, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, so
he could have thrown that punch a lot more against Joseph Parker, who was really never gonna knock him out and never did. Come on, bro. I get Big Bang Zhang being gun shy against him because he's knocking, he almost knocked out Joseph Parker. But against Joseph Parker, come on, bro. You gotta throw that motherfucker. And he just looks like a guy who's just not willing to do it anymore.
I mean, but we got this comment on right there. AJ isn't washed. He's just not able to cope with the heavy punchers. We've talked about Deontay Wilder only has one hope, which is that right hand. Isn't this the perfect fight, perfect crossroads fight for both?
I'm not saying I wouldn't watch it. You know what I mean? And
that's what I'm saying. I've been trying to see this fight. I've been trying to see this fight for so long, and one always loses, one always that. And now we got it again where who wins that fight, which I think sells it. And, maybe we get it, bro. I got to see Wilder, Joshua, or Joshua Fury.
But see, that's the thing is what you guys all said and then what Leach said in the comments is, yeah, Joshua might not be as washed as Wilder, but the thing that he is washed on, which is the chin, is what makes this fight intriguing.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a war, bro. I think it would be a 3 rounds at most. They don't even have to schedule it for 12 rounds. They could schedule it as a 4-round fight because I don't think it's going to go past 3. And it's going to be huge. It's going to do major box office. And this is the fight that's been talked about for many, many years. And I think it'll still do numbers.
I just think it's at a point where, again, it makes sense.
Let us have it. We never got Juanma and Gamboa, you know what I mean? There's these super fights that always get close to being made, even if it is past their prime. Let us have it. You know what I mean? So I think we should get it.
It's definitely a fight where the referees can take a night off because they're not going to be. This isn't going 12, no matter who wins. But yeah, I agree with you. I wouldn't see it going past 5. I think maybe round 1 and 2 they might kind of fill each other out, both be a little gun shy, and then they just start bombs away after that. You know what I'm saying? I think that would kind of be what it would turn into, and whoever lands first gets the dub. And I do think it's a last man standing kind of fight. I think whoever wins that gets the opportunity to keep going. The other guy needs to thank you for your service. Have a nice day. Go ahead and take your money and run. But I don't think either one of them at this point are a threat to the crown, bro.
Not at all.
Skill wise,
I still want to see AJ fight though. I do. I want to see him fight again. I just don't think he's a threat to the crown.
But I think that brings us back to why heavyweights are the glamour division, because if Deontay Wilder's right hand lands against anybody, he's probably knocking him out. Right. And you could just, however unlikely it might be, in my mind, bro, I could see him landing that punch. And there's that chance for that to happen. Obviously, I'm not trying to throw them in against Fury or Usyk right away, but one of those two knock each other out, bro, sign them up for the championship fight. Because they are box office. Because as us as fans can kind of suspend belief and be like, yo, hey, maybe he can land that. But I like where the heavyweight division's at, man.
Yeah, it would be crazy if they fight, Wilder knocks him out and with one punch, and then gets a Dubois fight and ends up fucking around and knocking Dubois out. You know what I mean?
That's not great. Like, that's not
out of the question at
you,
all.
You can't say, oh, that would never happen, because if Deontay Wilder lands that right hand, it could happen. I really feel that Zhang fight was just all bad, bro. Like, he even landed that right hand. At times I thought he was coming on, but that's a giant human being.
And at the same time, you think about it, he's divorcing his wife, who he's been publicly, it's been like a couple, like a public couple. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So knowing that that's happening at the same time, was there something mentally going on? Was he just not there for the Zhang fight? You got to think about that too.
And hey, let's throw Zhang in there, bro. Give Zhang a shot too. There's a lot of guys that on any given night, I feel like, hey, they could be the best heavyweight in the world. But right now, Usyk has to be dethroned, and let's watch it happen.
Well, that's about it, fellas. Unless there's anything else. I know we got some fights this weekend, but before I even run down that, if it's even worth previewing, what other comments from the past weekend do you guys have? Nothing. So we got this coming weekend. We have in New York, Sandy Ryan, Michaela Mayer, the return of Xander Zayas fighting Damian Sosa, 10-round fight. Nothing on that card really exciting outside of Shushu Carrington. He's stepping up on their ESPN Plus, so it's always good to see Shushu on TV. It's going to be good and entertaining. That's Friday night, and then Saturday we have Rhiannon Dixon versus Terry Harper for the WBO Women's Lightweight Championship, and that's really it. It's a slow weekend for boxing coming up, actually.
Yeah, isn't Alicia fighting? AB, she back?
She's
fighting now Persoon.
Okay.
She's fighting Delphine Persoon.
That's cool. I mean, honestly, the Michaela Mayer fight is kind of the biggest fight to me. And maybe that's just because, the presence that she's kind of built for herself through her career. To me, I look at Michaela Mayer, So, I want to know who wins that fight. I think she's done a good job of promoting herself, making herself, she commentates. She's just out there, so that makes you want to know. Xander Zayas, not the biggest fan, but hey, I hope he gets the win, because I feel like he has the potential to be in a really big fight, the way Berlanga was. So, we'll see. I'll tune in, but I'm not really expecting much, or I'm not too invested in it.
Well, you know who? Yeah, this coming weekend, I ain't gonna lie, I don't look too promising. I'm curious to see what Xander has to bring. If he, I want to see some knockouts from him. He's given us these highlight reel clips, but I need a highlight reel knockout from him. I forgot Alicia Baumgartner was fighting, so yeah, we got that. But really nothing too crazy. But last weekend, I don't know if you guys saw Jean Pascal get a sick knockout on, I forgot where he was fighting exactly and what platform. I just saw the clip.
Jean Pascal Jr.?
No, just John Pascal, bro.
Wow. He's still fighting? That's crazy.
Yeah, he picked up a mean knockout. If you find the clip, definitely I'll find it for you. I'll send it to you after the show. But yeah, that was a vicious knockout that he got. It was over a young up and coming fighter too.
Huh.
Never sleep on the old dudes, man. Never sleep on them. Power's the last thing to go.
I'm sleeping on him, bro.
Pause.
So is his opponent, apparently.
Yeah, that's true.
Pause. Hey, yo.
All right, that's about it, y'all. It's been a good show again. Appreciate everybody who just tuned in. If you found us, however you found us, appreciate it. If you tuned in to watch the Trini Ochoa interview and you stayed, appreciate that too. And if you're just watching us on a repeat in a few days from now, thank you. Make sure you guys press the like button, comment, share, subscribe to the channel as well too, and click the bell notification. That way you can get notified every time we go live, because we have 3 different live podcasts on here. The panel changes up weekly though, depending on the show. But I'll let the boys finish it off with some comments unless they don't have any.
I'm good, man.
There we go. Well, we out until next week. See y'all.